Hello and good morning. I am Amber Miller, Associate State Director with AARP Wisconsin, and I'm very excited that we have Sam Wilson, our State Director, announcing our 2020 AARP Community Challenge Grant winners. So, Sam, we've been counting down to this moment. I know you have all the good news, but before you announce it, I know you wanted to talk about a couple of things.
Well, good morning, Amber. It's an exciting morning. It is like the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, the Tonys. This is the big announcement that everybody's been waiting for quite some time now. Honestly, a lot of our grantees have been eagerly anticipating this moment, and it's always exciting. One of the things that we've talked about over the last several weeks is really how this program has blossomed, not just in Wisconsin, but across the country. We're approaching almost, if I'm not mistaken, almost $200,000 being invested from AARP back into the state of Wisconsin for these livability projects. And it's been so exciting because you have communities as small as 250 people receiving grants. You have communities as large as, obviously, Milwaukee, our largest community in the state, receiving grants at, nearly 600,000 people in the city of Milwaukee. So it's truly one of those programs where you've got the possibility, no matter the size of your community, whether you're rural or urban, if you have a creative idea that you think is going to enhance the livability for all generations, then we want your good idea. The other thing I've talked about recently, Amber, is this idea of just generate how much idea generation between the challenge grant and our small dollar big impact grants, which we'll talk about later, have had over 150 livability ideas were submitted so far in 2020, with months more to go with the small dollar big impact grants. But just thinking about the leadership that's happening with nonprofits, with mayors, city council members, economic development directors, city planners, all working together to find really great ideas that just need a few extra bucks to get off the ground. I think it's just incredibly exciting. So I do want to talk a little bit briefly. So people know that we are announcing the winners of the 2020 Community Challenge Grants, which is a national program from AARP. And sometimes people say, well, what does it really mean when we talk about livable communities or age-friendly communities? And I really want to set the stage, because a lot of these projects really work off of the definition of how do we create a livable community. So for us, the definition is a livable community is one that's safe and secure, has affordable housing and transportation options, offers supportive community features and services. And when you have all of that together, it creates a place that enhances personal independence. It fosters resident engagement in the community, both in civic life, economic life, and social life. So each of these projects today that we're going to announce, and the other projects that we funded in the past, feeds into that vision of creating a livable community. I do want to take a chance, Amber. I've got so much paper around me. It's incredible right now. I'm trying to keep track of all this information the best I can.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about, as we talked about some of the communities that in the past have received funding, I want to do a quick rundown of some of the communities over the past 4 years that have received investments into their livable projects. Ashland, Beaver Dam, Milwaukee, Oconomowoc, Sheboygan, Ellsworth. We had one nonprofit, the Friends of North Pikes Creek Wetlands. We had Greendale, La Crosse, Madison, Sheboygan, Shorewood, Wausau, Milwaukee, the Wisconsin Bike Federation. As you can tell, there are communities across the state. We even had some state challenge grant winners that were part of a sort of an extra round of funding that we've done in the past. In those, you had the city of Owen, you have the city of Deer Park, you have the city of Goodman, Gaze Mills. So, like I said, everything from a population of 250 to 500, 600,000, we run the gambit, and we do try to reward those good ideas that are out there. But that's enough of me. Amber.
It's all about you, Sam.
No one tuned in today to hear me talk about all of that. They want to know who the winners are. So let's talk a little bit about the winners. Yeah, let's do that for 2020. So our first project that we want to talk about is the first winner is the historic King Drive Business Improvement District 8 in the city of Milwaukee. And there's going to be a common refrain amongst all of these winners in that there is an incredible amount of collaboration and community partnership that is occurring with each of these, and a real sense of bringing people in the community together to seek the best ideas. In some places to create new spaces, and in some ways to enhance or rebuild already existing places. This project, in Historic King Drive, is a public-private partnership initiated to restore blighted public space on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive in the Harambe neighborhood. This park was originally created 20 years ago. It's a city-owned site, also known as Victory Over Violence Park. Many people know it by that name. It has since fallen into a bit of disrepair, but this project is going to restore the park to its original purpose as a community gathering space for individuals of all ages and a healing space for victims of trauma due to violence. A fantastic purpose. And the best part about it that I really like was it started actually 3 years ago in 2017. A coalition of community leaders got together, started meeting, and determined ways on how to remove some of the blight and conditions of the park, and how to create a healthy intergenerational green space on King Drive. And that to me is sort of the essence of the livable communities process. It's, again, getting people together, finding partners in the community, leveraging dollars, whether it be from a city, a county, an organization like AARP, and finding those spaces in your community that really need just a little investment that can make a really big difference in the space. So we're really looking forward to seeing what this project will turn out to be. Again, our first 2020 Community Challenge winner, Historic King Drive Business Improvement District number 8. Our second winner that we'll announce today is the Wild Rivers Habitat for Humanity in Spooner, Wisconsin. So Spooner, Wisconsin, the Wild River Habitat for Humanity up there is doing something that I think is just such a creative idea. We talk about libraries to rent out books, and they're creating a tool library so that folks in the community, if you needed to, tile your bathroom, you can find a wet saw at the tool library that you can then check out rather than spending anywhere from $200 to $750. And it'll be available to everyone in the community at, again, low or no cost. And one of the barriers that we often see with housing is, as the age of the home progresses, oftentimes as the age of the residents progress, some of the repairs that need to be done, whether that's cost prohibitive or the tools aren't available, oftentimes we see a lot of degradation of the housing stock, and nobody knows how to create homes for individuals in need than Habitat for Humanity and the work that they've been doing for such a long time. So we're really excited to see what a tool lending library can look like. The other piece of that project, which I think is really exciting too, is I can hear even in my own mind saying, I don't know how to use half the tools that are probably in that lending library. Well, they're going to host skills labs and learning sessions to focus on home repair projects and home maintenance and how to use some of these tools, which is perhaps the most important thing of all. So again, Wild Rivers Habitat for Humanity in Spooner, Wisconsin, winner number 2. Number 3 is the city of Cuba City. So Cuba City Had a fantastic proposal this year. As we all know, Cuba City, the city of presidents, they have a fantastic main street, all dedicated, sort of a boulevard um, of, of sort of presidential information. They've got Presidential Plaza. They've got the presidential caboose and gazebo. It's all about presidents in Cuba City. Well, this is another really interesting aspect of this project. You know, they want to create an even larger space than they have already for community gatherings. And the genesis of the project is really interesting. The project began in earnest in January of 2019 when two high school juniors joined the city's downtown task force. And what they wanted to find out is what's the opinion of younger residents as to what we can do to improve the community and make it more appealing to the younger residents. And they did a survey of 218 students at Cuba City High School. At the same time, the city was involved in a housing study to look at the future growth of Cuba City. They were interviewing business owners on a wide range of topics. All of these activities, when they were aggregated together, indicated a really strong need for a community gathering space. Not just a blank space. Green grass and green space is fantastic, but really make use of a larger community space. So they started sort of dreaming up projects and events and festivals that could be held in this space. They imagined what could happen if they had free Wi-Fi in the space, if they had gaming tables, if they had, planters and benches, and really made it an appealing place for people to hang out. So this project is all about helping move that along. And we know that we're really excited about what the final project will look like in Cuba City as they leverage some of AARP's dollars with other community partners as well. So kudos to Cuba City for your great application. Last but not least, we have Milwaukee Parks as our fourth winner here in 2020. This project has to do with Gardner Park Community Space project, and it's a final piece of a larger park reconstruction that was completed in 2016. It includes new playground, walking path, fitness center, or not fitness center, fitness equipment, excuse me, for adults and seniors. Now they want to build, kind of like we've seen in some of the other spaces, a new social gathering venue where they want to bring in sort of this intergenerational play with events and activities in the Menominee River Hills neighborhood, have a place that both young and old residents can interact, build relationships, enjoy nature together. There's going to be tables with built-in game boards, places to sit and relax with a book. There's going to be a kiosk so that people can exchange neighborhood information and any programming that might be in the community, and a space for large groups to gather and do celebrations. So again, just a really fantastic idea. And it, again, all started, which is, again, the familiar refrain for all of these projects, is a group of local residents got together to make decisions and set priorities for this space. That board consisted of an intergenerational couple with their teenage granddaughter, a middle-aged couple with grown children, a young couple with elementary age children, a single retired senior. Just a really inclusive environment for some decision making and planning and visioning for how we could make Gardner Park an even better space for people in this area of Milwaukee. So four fantastic projects that we're super excited to see reach their completion. And if people, now I say this, Amber, I know that the challenge grant process for 2020 is over, but I did mention briefly the AARP Wisconsin Small Dollar Big Impact Program, which I give an immense amount of credit to you, Amber, and your colleague, Darren Wisniewski, who developed this program to highlight small projects in a community that can really be the spark for larger social engagement. It's projects that are $1,000 in value or less, can be completed, in 30 days. So it's a really quick turnaround. We've seen tremendous amount of interest in the Small Dollar Big Impact program. I want to encourage people to go to our website, aarp.org/WI. I think we have a banner there. And to get more information on how you as a community or a nonprofit, if you have an idea that just, if we could just sort of prove it with a small example, perhaps it leads to more community investment and more partnership participation. I really would encourage people to go to our website and look for the Small Dollar Big Impact Grant, and then we'll keep our fingers crossed. But the Community Challenge Grant that we just announced the winners for has been, I think this is year number 4, Amber.
Correct.
So we're going to cross our fingers that 2021 will be another round of Community Challenge grants. So for those of you that did apply and were not selected, we really encourage you to come back in 2021 and reapply. It's a tremendously competitive process. Amber, I can remember year 1 when we were looking at the Community Challenge grants. I think there were about 40 applications, which is a lot in year 1. I think we had 88
Correct.
projects in 2020, which is it's the hardest job that I participate in each and every year at AARP. And our executive council, which is our leadership volunteers, engage in that judging process. Just it's incredibly competitive, but we want you to come back in 2021. So beginning the year, keep an eye out for the application process for Community Challenge once again. The last thing I would say is for people who want to get an idea about what kind of projects have been funded in the past. I mentioned some of the communities, but I didn't have time to get into all the different projects. There's a website, livablemap.aarp.org, livablemap.aarp.org. You'll see a banner. This is a new interactive tool that we have where you can go and sort by state, by city, by type of project for all across the country and see the types of projects that have garnered funding through the Community Challenge Grant Program. You can see all the ones from Wisconsin. You can see, comparable to our neighbors in the Midwest. It's a really interesting tool, and I particularly suggest it for anyone that has an idea, perhaps for application in 2021. And just get a sense of if you feel like your idea is in the same ballpark. We always love new and innovative ideas as well. So that might be a good first step for those of you that are starting to think about maybe being involved in this process as to what are some of the ideas that have been funded in the past. So Amber, I'm not sure I've got much more to say. I've run out of paper in my lap. That probably means my comments should probably wrap up too.
Well, I would say it's very exciting that AARP Wisconsin and all of our really great partners were able to bring 4 grants back to the state of Wisconsin and infuse all that money, back into the communities. And if you happen to be in one of the communities that Sam just announced, please feel free to share this video on your Facebook page or on your YouTube page, because also then you can get the word out, because a lot of people might not know that your city was chosen. But I do echo what Sam said. It was very competitive this year, and hopefully next year there'll be some additional applications. But if not, definitely apply for our next Small Dollar Big Impact Grant, which you can find on our website, aarp.org/Wisconsin, with applications being due. The next round, which is cycle 5, is September 17th. And Sam, thank you so much for joining us this morning with the great news. We really appreciate it. And thank you, too, for giving a background on what a livable community is, because it's so important that people do some additional research on our website to learn maybe what they can do to help be a livable community. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, Amber. And it's an exciting morning, certainly for those 4 communities. And it's a truly exciting morning for AARP and our livable community work.
Great. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us. And thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Be safe.